And I mention that because in our time this fitna has risen. Today we have people who give themselves nice titles, right? They call themselves submitters or Qur'aniyun or hadith rejectors or Sunnah rejectors, whatever they want to call themselves, or modernists or progressive or whatever else. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them a title as well in the Qur'an. In the next ayah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues to say to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, قُلْ أَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَالرَّسُولَ. Obey Allah and His Messenger. فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا. And if you turn away, if you don't obey Allah and His Messenger, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says? فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْكَافِرِينَ. What is the title? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives to the people who reject the Sunnah, who reject Hadith, who reject following Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They are not called submitters, they are not called Qur'aniyun, they are called Kafirin. In the Qur'an, subhanallah, in the Hadith which is in Al-Bukhari and Muslim, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Man raghiba, yani whoever goes away an sunnati, from my sunnah, falaysa minna. They are not from us. For riwayah, falaysa minni, and they are not from me. In the riwayah that is mentioned by As-Suyuti in his tafsir, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned this and then recited these ayat. So what does that tell us? First and foremost, if we claim to love Allah, if we claim to be the people of Iman, if we want to submit, if we want to be Muslim, then Allah has ordained upon us ittiba'an nabi, obedience to the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. What is the sunnah? People misunderstand the sunnah. People think, oh, if you eat with 4 fingers instead of 3, you're kafir. La la, that's not the way. Don't confuse here sunnah with mustahab. Sunnah here is the way the religion was taught by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he taught us 5 salawat. He taught us Fajr is 2, Dhuhr is 4, Asr is 4, Maghrib is 3, Isha is 4, so on. Somebody today says we only obey the Qur'an, we don't find 4 rak'ah Dhuhr, I'm going to make rak'atain. I'm going to make a rak'ah. Right? You can call yourself whatever you want. That person, Allah calls him kafir in the Qur'an. La. Aqim as-salah is in the Qur'an. How to establish the sunnah? That's what you're being told to ittiba', to follow the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how to establish that ibadah. And those who reject the sunnah are of 2 types. They are of 2 types. قولا وفعلا. Lisan al-maqal wa lisan al-hal. What does that mean? One is people that come out today and say we don't believe in the sunnah. We believe in the Qur'an, we believe in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we don't believe in him in the way of having to follow him. So we don't follow the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the way he taught us salah, the way he taught us hajj. We make up our own way from the Qur'an only, and so on and so on. Wallahi, they are kuffar in the Qur'an. They make kufr of the Qur'an. But the Qur'an tells you, Atiullah wa Rasul. So that's one. But those are qawlan, they say it. But there is a second type that is very dangerous that the reason I chose this, which is fi'lan, with action. Lisan al-hal. What is that? That is when you tell somebody, Akhi, I know you're praying this way, but what is established from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, mutawatir, sahih, ilm al-yaqini, is this, and they tell you, La akhi, Allah, you're Wahhabi, keep your Wahhabism to yourself. My culture, my imam, my country, they take those things above ittiba' al-nabi. They take cultural adat above that. They take their community and their ties of Qadianism and Ismailism and this ism and Rafidism and this ism over obedience. Even when they say we follow the Prophet ﷺ, but fi'lan, bilisan al-hal, they make kufr of the sunnah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala let us benefit from the Qur'an, where we become obedient to Qala Allah, which is in the Qur'an, wa Qala Rasul alayhi salatu salam, which is established in the ahadith al-sahih ala lisan al-Mustafa alayhi salatu salam, wa jazakum Allahu khairan.